Guys, I did want to show y'all this book because I was thinking about it earlier. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And what's cool about it is he teaches the science of meditation, and there's like brain scans that they did on real people in their meditation retreats. And so, they can see how the thoughts and moving the energy during meditation transforms people in real life. And the coolest thing is, the reason why I was thinking about this book was because, okay, so Dr. Joe Dispenza had this lady who got her thyroid completely removed, and she ended up stopped taking, like, she started doing the meditations, and she ended up stopped taking all her medications, and her thyroid levels were completely fine, even though she had no thyroid. He also had this other lady, and there's a video up on YouTube on his page, so you can actually go check this out. There's another lady in the crowd who had her thyroid removed, and she completely regrew it. So I think there's so much room and so much validity to being open to the magic, especially with science. I read this book recently called Materialism is Baloney, and it was all about how our science is so limited. Like, I've talked to ER physician recently, one of my teachers, and she was saying, Rachel, these people, they should have died. There's no reason this person should have lived. And like, I guess that's also why I read A Course in Miracles, is because, the power of the mind, the power of the thoughts, and how that affects our biochemistry is like everything. It's absolutely everything. So the reason I was thinking about that earlier, that book, was because I was listening to Dr. Ken Berry, which super cool doctor to go check out. Definitely, if you're looking for, really well-known people out there, new people to search. He was talking with this other lady on thyroid, balancing thyroid. He was talking about iodine and how iodine is a critical element for thyroid functioning and for every single cell. So, I just like to I like to learn about the cell mechanisms and stuff. So it kind of teaches me, okay, so what foods have iodine, and whatnot. So anyway, I thought that was cool. But one thing she said in the interview was, he asked her, what is one thing that you could tell the audience? And she said, your gifts and your symptoms, they are teachers. The symptoms are gifts, and it's so important to know that, because like, the body is so gentle. It's so gentle. Symptoms, they're just guiding us in a different direction. And I made this video a few days ago talking about food sensitivities and spiritual awakening. Sometimes you're going through life, everything's all good until it's not. You end up looking around and you're like, I'm not happy with where I am. And sometimes the body does that. The body will do that for you sometimes. The body will start rejecting food groups that it's always been fine, And then one day it's like, oh, I'm not digesting the same way, And there's a tie between the nervous system, the gut bacteria, and our thoughts. Dr. David Perlmutter's book, one of my favorites, Brain Maker, he talks about how Parkinson's, mental health disorders, all kinds of diseases are tied to the gut bacteria, that we populate and cultivate. So it's all one big, nothing is separate. Like, everything we go into the environment, every time we go into a particular environment, like, we are intertwining with that. It's kind of funny, honestly. I was walking past this porta potty this morning, and it was like, it smelled so nasty. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you can smell something, like if you smell poo, those poo particles are already in your body, because we wouldn't be able to smell them unless they entered into our field and we were able to like process it and pick it up. So it was so gross, but I also thought it was so funny because I was like I smelled those poo particles. I didn't touch the poo, but that environment is still inside me now because it's been part of my experience, So that's why, even talking, it makes me think of like secondhand smoke, how secondhand smoke, just because you're not smoking a cigarette doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect on your body. And I was talking earlier this week about sexually transmitted diseases. Like, we swap so much bacteria with people. Even just you watching this video, like, we're swapping bacteria. Like, you're feeling some type of way about me, and you know, I'm just chilling and talking, and you know, we're swapping bacteria, we're swapping thoughts. You know, quantum physics, everything is connected, and that's part of the reason why too. Like, you know, even though like I may not have my comments on here, like we hear and communicate with people in so many ways we can't even comprehend. If we had to comprehend it, it would be like having to comprehend the digestive processes. Like, we'd be so overwhelmed, you know. And but you know, people are starting to, you know, wake up to the fact that, like, I would say more like emotional intelligence, picking on people's body signals, reading body language, hearing the tone beyond the actual words themselves. There's always a tone that people are speaking in. So you might ask someone, hey, how are you doing? You doing great? And they say something and it's completely opposite of what they said, you know? So I think people are really, I think we're going through like this process of awakening with realizing this, and more, and I think it's becoming harder to wear the mask. So there's no point in wearing the mask. Just, you know, what would happen if you were yourself? I was also on my walk, I was also thinking about gravity. I was like, gravity is always trying to help us out, but we're so stubborn, we don't even let her. And like, I was, you know, just thinking about like every step that you take is a force. You know, you're putting your feet on the ground, and then there's a force coming up all through your body. There's a vibration that's going up all through your body, and it's so important, like, to practice moving your lymph, your immune system, clearing everything out. Like, you know, our thoughts play a huge role in how we feel, but also like our movement and being out in the sun, like being out in the light. You know, walking is a force. It is a form of light in the body, because like when we walk, when we go outside in the sun, our body heats up. Our mitochondria love that we produce energy and light, and our mitochondria bend space-time, you know? You slow down the aging process, you're bending space-time. It's just so beautiful. And we all have this, we all want to, we're wired for addiction. We are wired for the dopamine state. And that's kind of why I lean more towards a carnivore diet as well, is because when we have trouble with a certain habit or a certain addictive tendency, a lot of times we don't feel like we have enough of what we need. So there's like this stimulus that comes up that's like, you know, it makes me think of the gut bacteria each time. It makes me think of insulin resistance and the ghrelin hormone, the hunger hormone, how when we start to become insulin resistant, that hunger hormone elevates because we're not getting energy into the cell, and it's this constant like, go eat that, go do that. You know, it's this compelling force. But when we have everything that we need, it's like the body can finally like be at rest for like a moment. Like, we have all the minerals and the nutrients. We're not reaching outside of ourselves. So, of course, I also recommend that you go look at Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. I probably need to get back into his meditations. That's probably why I was thinking about this today. But I just wanted to come make this video in case you know, would benefit from hearing about that work. And also Dr. Ken Berry, he's a great carnivore doctor to look into as well. So anyway, I love you so much. Remember, we don't see ourselves accurately, and I wish you the best of luck.